I do not remember where I left off at the last time we talked. The last time I recorded a little vlog was January 23rd of 2022. And it is now May 2nd of 2023. I'm gonna start at the beginning, kind of. January, the entire month of January, I was, just working, but also I was doing DoorDash every single day. I think I missed maybe one day. I was doing DoorDash every single day, basically trying to make extra money because it was definitely not coming from work. At some point near the very end of January to the beginning of February, my check engine light came on, as I do in my normal way of things. Went into panic mode, but I was like, it's fine. We're gonna go to like an AutoZone and get a code read. So I did that, and they said that it was reading that the O2 sensors were needed to be replaced. So I'm like, okay. And so then I have a hard time finding a mechanic that even wants to touch my vehicle because I have a Prius. Nobody wants to touch it because it's a hybrid. Everything's compact. Nobody wants to touch it. Finally, I find a place. I take the car there. As soon as they opened that day, I scheduled an appointment and all this stuff. Told them what AutoZone had told me. There were some other issues going on with the car. I can't remember what they were. Like, they weren't the main issue, but The main issue was the check engine light, but there was something else. Gave it to them. By the end of the day, because it was a work week, I get off work and get back to the mechanic, and they're like, yeah, we have no clue why it's reading the O2 sensors, because we've spent the whole day checking the O2 sensors and they're perfectly fine. However, whatever that side issue was that I just mentioned, they fixed that. That was nothing. But then they found out that, I don't remember what exactly they said this piece was, but basically some metal framing piece, that's the best way I can describe it, under the car is apparently completely bent in. And they said that it would cost me between $3,000 to $4,000 to have that fixed. Because it's all like, it's a lot of work. It's a lot of labor to fix that. If something were ever to happen to my radiator, not that something was, but if something were to happen to the radiator and I didn't get that fixed first, then it would cost me exponentially more to get whatever needed to be done to the radiator, because whatever that thing was either, it was, I think they said that it was holding up the radiator at this point, something like that. I was quite depressed and I stopped doing DoorDash, because then I went into panic mode thinking, oh, my car is going to break down tomorrow. Because after that fact, like I said, they never even figured out why the check engine light turned on in the first place. So after that point, the car started having other issues. Since it's a hybrid, when it would switch between the electric to the regular engine, I don't know the technicalities of it all, but when it would switch between those two different modes, it would be really hard, really rough switching over. Then like the check engine light after that point would turn off. A couple months later or so, it would turn on. It didn't stay on like consistently at all. When I would come to a stop, the car would like jerk back as if it was like, as if when I'm driving, it was pushed forward. And so when you come to a stop, it had to lurch itself back into place. Started doing that. Just lots of things. And then at one point I went on a vacation. When I came back from said vacation, because I flew, I was gone for almost 2 weeks, basically 2 weeks. I got into my car the first day that I needed to go back to work, and now the car is taking forever to start up. Something to do with the battery. More on that later. It was a fun time. And then I spent all of last year in dread and extreme stress. Every single day I had to drive to work. I only had a 10-minute commute to and from work. Didn't fucking matter. I was stressed every time, because it was in my mind. I was like, is today the day that's going to break down on me? Is today the day? Is today the day? Is today the day? And then at some point I finally gave in and decided to have the spark plugs replaced. They needed to be replaced. So that was a good decision. They were wrecked. They were done. They needed to be replaced. And then after that, I had the ignition coils replaced. And that's all I've done, because at this point, I'm very annoyed with the car. I've been annoyed with the car. I want to get rid of the car. I hate the car. But unfortunately, I am still paying off the loan on said car. So that's fun. That's where I'm at with that. And then finally in December, I cannot remember if it was right before Christmas or right before New Year's Eve, but it was one of those holidays. The day before, I decided to go out to this little shopping area because I just wanted to get out of the apartment, and went shopping afterwards. Went to Chick-fil-A. I ordered ahead. I went inside to pick up my order because the drive-thru was crazy long, as it always is. And when I got back into my car, Remember when I said more on the whole battery thing? Yeah, that was the night that it decided to not turn on ever again. So I had to call AAA. They jumped my car. The guy was like, yeah, you probably need to get your battery replaced, and then you gotta like take it to a dealership to probably do that. I'm like, absolutely not. So that was the thing. Then I got home that night and I looked up to see how much the battery would cost, because a Prius has two batteries. It has the electric battery and then a 12-volt normal battery that's like in every single car. And that battery is at least, well, according to AutoZone, it was like $250. And for the longest time, because like I said, it's now May, and this happened back in December, I was just like, fuck the car, fuck it, fuck it, fuck it. Now I'm finally getting into the mode of like, okay, we're going to replace that battery. We're going to at least do that. So that's going to happen probably in the next month, I'd say, month and a half, probably next month. Because I have found it online for a little bit cheaper. Honestly, because it gave me so much stress. Like, I had dreams about the car breaking down on me. That's how stressed out I was. When it finally did break down, I cannot tell you the amount of relief that I had to know, oh, yep, it's finally happened. It's done. And so since then, like, if I want to go out, I just take an Uber somewhere, or if it's close enough, I'll walk there because I like walking, and then I have my groceries delivered, so it's really not that big of a deal. And the reason why that is brings me to my next point is in the middle of October last year, I finally got a new job. And I started it November 1st. I now am a graphic designer again in my rightful place. I am a graphic designer for a publication company. I work from home and it's great. I work on 3 different papers right now. 2 are weekly papers and 1 is a monthly paper. It's a monthly magazine. And I enjoy it because I don't have to, well, 1, it's graphic design. 2, it's extremely easy. And 3, I work from home, which is all I wanted. And it was just like perfect timing because a month after starting the job, the car broke down. So it was, it was perfect timing. I wrote down a list of all the things that I needed to talk about. So if you see me looking down, here's my list. Let's see, what else? Hated my job all of last year. Hated it, hated it, hated it, hated it, hated it. Did I say I hated it? Yeah, I hated it. Didn't hate the coworkers, hated the actual job. So much so that I was, not just because of the job, but like the financial situation, my car, and then my whole mindset of I'm not where I want to be, blah, blah, blah. That whole thing made me extremely depressed, anxious, stressed out, and a few different times had serious suicidal thoughts. She says very nonchalantly, like that's okay. But yeah, no, it was really fucking bad. I remember when I first moved here and moved into this apartment, I told myself that if it was like around Christmas time, not when I moved here, but I had this thought around Christmas time in 2021 that I'll be where I want to be by next Christmas. So that was kind of the goal. The goal happened. The goal was good. Well, to a degree. I mean, my car did break down, but besides that, I was happy and where I wanted to be financially and also with my job. So in that degree, I was where I wanted to be. But because I had made that like conscious, I guess, goal all of last year up until the point that I got the new job, all I could think was, I'm not going to get that goal by December. And then it turned into, if I don't get this by December and I have another unhappy Christmas, because Christmas is like super important to me, it was just suicidal thoughts. What's the point? I could not stop thinking and saying, what's the point? Why am I here? What is the point? What is the point? And so it was really bad. And I was so upset and angry at everything that I took it out on people that didn't deserve it. But yeah, it wasn't a fun time. Then I went on a very needed vacation in September, visited my old roommates and friends back in New Mexico, and I couldn't even enjoy that. Like, it was fun, it was good, but even then I couldn't enjoy it. I was just so upset. It was not a good time. It took me a literal 2 years to get this job that I now have. So yeah, I can't reiterate it enough or stress it enough. Like, I was not in a good place at all. To any degree. It was bad. And now I am so much happier, so grateful. It's a complete 360. And now when I do get anxious about something, it's not even remotely close to how I would have felt about said thing this time last year. Like, it's completely different. What else? I lost 180 pounds. Not physically. I dropped my ex-boyfriend completely back in, I think it was in January, or maybe it was in February. Now I can't remember. But yeah, a guy that I wasted almost basically 5 years on, dropped him completely. And if you had told me that was going to happen this time last year, I would have laughed at you and also probably cried a significant amount about it. That's another example of I could not be happier. In December or January, I decided to write a FU letter. Something like, this was before I even planned on dropping him. I was not even planning on dropping him. I was writing this FU letter for my own self. Like, it wasn't going to get mailed to him. It was completely for me. And I wanted to let go of everything I basically resented him for. And so it was just supposed to be for me. So I did it. And it was 27 pages long. And then at some point, either in January or February, I think it was February, I just decided, nope, we're done. We're not going to be friends. We are completely done. I can't do this at all. You're not a good person. And if you're still watching, you're not a good person. Just want you to know that, because I'm sure you're still subscribed. At least for now. But yeah, I think the real kickers were the fact that, like, months ago, before any of this happened, I found out some information about him, and you will not believe the way I found it out. This is some crazy shit. This is some stuff that you only find out when you're trying to, like, actually intentionally dig up stuff about someone, and that's not even what I was doing. It was at my last job. There was an hour left at work, and I was hungry, ready for dinner, and I decided to Google restaurants near my apartment to try out new places, and I was looking up reviews. And I'm looking at the reviews of this one restaurant, and what do you know? He made a review to that restaurant. I'm like, what are the odds? Like, I didn't know he was making reviews to places. That's cool. So I click on his name because I was curious. I was like, I wonder if he's like made reviews anywhere else. So I click on his name, and he has made like a few other reviews. And just 2 months prior, he made a review at a different restaurant saying that him and his girlfriend really enjoyed the place. His girlfriend, this is coming from the man that for at least the past 2 years at that point had been whining at least once or twice a month about how life's so hard being single. I can't handle it. It sucks being a single man. Cool. So, needless to say, I got annoyed, texted him, Told him he was a liar. Didn't really explain why. Because also, the same time that he made that review, he had blocked me on Facebook. Swore up and down he would never ever block me. Said something's wrong with my Facebook. My friend, now I'm being a snoop, because now you've pissed me off because you're lying to me. So, I mean, it's not the first time he lied to me. So, but went onto my friend's Facebook, found out that yes, he has been spending time with his ex-girlfriend that's now apparently his girlfriend again, the one that he left me for, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. So I texted him, called him a liar, didn't give him any more information because he doesn't deserve it, and blocked him. And about 2 months later, he comes trying to get my attention again, probably because the girlfriend is out of town, because that's all that adds up to. Every single time she's out of town, he's lonely and needs attention because he's an attention whore. So yeah, he was just like, I know where he went, blah, blah, blah. So I gave him attention for about a few more weeks, 2 or 3 weeks. And then he started doing his bullshit again of like leaving, well, not even leaving me on red, probably leaving me on red, but just like ignoring me for multiple weeks on end. And that's when I got fed up and said, I'm letting you go. Have fun with, and his girlfriend's name, and blocked him. And then about, I want to say a month later is when I started deleting him off of everything. And here we are. Couldn't be happier. And my friend actually just informed me a few days ago that homeboy got said girl pregnant. And so all I have to say on that note is God bless the girlfriend. God bless the daughter. God bless the new baby. They're gonna need it. And bless his heart. That's all I can say. It's been so freeing to not deal with that anymore. There was just a lot of shit. I could make a whole video talking about him, but he doesn't deserve it. If my friend Mark is seeing this, I'm sure he's really kicking himself that I just said that I wouldn't make a whole video dedicated to this guy. I'm sorry, Mark. He doesn't deserve it. This is the best you're gonna get. Okay, what else? The very first weekend of January, I had to make an emergency trip to Kansas because my dad made it seem like my mom was on her deathbed. Side note, she's not. Good, great, we love that. But yeah, so I was there for about a weekend, and I saw Cadence again, and I saw Christiana and Olivia, Cadence's husband, almost said boyfriend, oops. That was fun. I enjoyed that. I just miss Cadence. That's all I can say. I just miss Cadence. I just recently got back on Bumble, but for Bumble BFF, I have met one person so far on there. Her name is Cassie, and we've hung out once, and I like her. And I'm trying to meet other people. Just hasn't panned out just yet because of the timing and all. Because the last week of each month, the last full week of each month is like super busy with work. That's when I have to do all 3 papers at the same time. I am working on myself. That's all I'm doing. Working on myself, just working in general, playing new games and old games, getting back into that and enjoying it and just relaxing, not making myself feel bad for doing that. Cooking new stuff, just cooking in general. You can kind of see the messy open pantry that I've got there. That's been a goal since day one to get that, and so I finally was able to get that started. But yeah, just enjoying life, just living and existing happily. I can bake again because, a side note, I don't know if I ever said this, but my oven has never worked since day one of living in this apartment, and I have contacted the landlord multiple times. They've come every single time, but every single time they show up, the oven works for them, and I look like a crazy person. So one of my friends kindly, extremely nicely, bought me a convection oven that also has, like, it's got a lot of different features, but it can also air fry. And I've wanted an air fryer since at least 2019 or longer. Like, it's been on my wish list for a very long time, so that was very nice of them, so I can bake again. So that's fun. But yeah, I think that's everything. I've only been speaking to you for like 30 minutes now, but yeah, things are good. They're a lot better than they were before, and they can only get better. Oh, I almost forgot. I got bangs. You can't see them right now. And I cut 16 plus inches off. Or maybe, no, I think I probably cut 16 inches off for sure. But yeah, did that. Have been wanting to get bangs since 2020. Yeah, I finally did it. You can't really see, but they're there. Almost forgot about that. That's everything for now. I'm just living life and enjoying it again. That's all I have to say. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you in my next one.